Hi, my name is Mary Spender, and you are watching Tuesday Talks. And in this episode, I'm going to say why it shouldn't be scary walking into a guitar store. Tuesday Talks. Pretty crazy to walk into a guitar store and then see your friend's signature guitars. How cool. Rob, Rabia, Rob. I will admit I am often very nervous when I walk into a guitar store, not so much because of going in and playing, but because I try and film. And obviously it's a very unpredictable environment, and I sometimes have to just get over myself. If I want to create a video, then I have to be able to sit myself down, no matter what is going on around me, and just concentrate on the camera or concentrate on playing and trying to capture as much good sound as I possibly can. I know that other people find guitar stores very intimidating, and I know that a lot of people are buying online. Maybe they go into a guitar store, have a little play, and then they buy it later because they're scared of asking questions, or they are relying on some of their favorite YouTube channels to give them an opinion on the instrument. But really, it's one of those things where you actually have to go and sit down and play the instrument that you are about to buy, because there has to be a bit of a connection. It's not quite the same as just going in and buying a microphone or a pedal, because you know exactly what that piece of technology is going to do. Guitar varies between guitar. So even if you have 10 Les Pauls all lined up in a row, they'd all feel slightly different, especially obviously if they are varying instruments, and figuring out the years you like, or the reissues you like, or the specs you like. It all has to be tailored to your taste, and that's why it's so difficult, but that's why guitar stores like this can be so daunting. So back in November, I found a guild very similar to this, but it was a 1962. Went in the next day and it was sold. And it was more tobacco burst, I think, rather than this beautiful sort of wine cherry red. But this is 1965, which I have researched, and I think they're slightly less valuable, but this one's actually more expensive than the original 1962 that I found. So I saw it high up on the shelf and I just had to play it, so. One of these, but I really want a 1962. I just got that year in my mind, and also I do love tobacco sunburst. I love this too though. Oh, what other guitar should I choose? One thing I'd recommend is, and this is hard for people that work or go to school, is to try and find a quiet day of the week when you might be able to get into a guitar store, because obviously Saturdays are very, very busy. Guitar stores are very, very popular, and people like to sit and play for quite a long time. So it's best to try and find a quiet time, and maybe that does mean taking a little bit of annual leave or getting a few hours off. I don't know, what situation you might be in, but that's one piece of advice. Try and get a little moment of quiet, or maybe get in when it first opens too on a Saturday morning if you can. Metallic over sparkle. You guys know I have a fascination over these kinds of guitars. did ask to go up one of these ladders to do a bird's eye view intro to Tuesday Talks, but sadly, insurance, they don't want to be sued, which is fair enough. I don't want to fall either. This is the Martin 00028 Eric Clapton signature model with a very tasteful Eric Clapton signature in the 20th fret. And this is, of course, by Martin. Look how pretty. And it's got a very, very V-shaped neck, as I was kindly told. And then as soon as I felt it, you can just immediately distinguish what kind of neck it is. But some other little tricks you can use to make your guitar store experience a little easier is take a tuner. I learned that from Tyler Larson of Music Is Win, and you know, it just really helps because it avoids that sort of judgment of you being a little bit flat, a little bit sharp. Maybe you can't hear yourself all that properly in the room because there might be a few other shredders sitting around you. So always take a tuner. If there is a particular song that you feel comfortable playing, practice it before you go, and then sit down and play that song, whatever it is, whether it's your own song, whether it's your own material, or whether it's a cover song that you just love and want to hear the guitar, you know, in that certain avenue. It's just having a library of music just stored away in your head really, really helps, and it can stop that mind blank moment where you're just like sat down and you don't know what to play, because that has happened to me plenty of times. So you just get intimidated, you freeze up, you don't know what to play, and then you play something, and then you go somewhere that you weren't expecting, and then you mess it up. So practice some songs that you enjoy before you go, and things that you really want to hear on that guitar as well. You want to hear it in the way that you want to play it. One thing I beg of guitar store assistants or managers is that when you are getting a guitar down for a customer, other than tuning it, don't play it. Do not shred away just to prove a point that you can play, because hopefully if you are working in a guitar store, you probably can play guitar, or you know a little bit about guitars, but really you want the customer to feel comfortable enough to be able to perform, because it's kind of a mini performance every time you're playing in front of more than one person, or as the guitar store manager you're stood there watching over the person playing and trying to assist them. I just can't forgive assistants who want to prove a point that they're a musician, not just a salesman or woman, because yeah, it's just intimidating. And when you're in a guitar store, surely you want to sell guitars. You don't just want to prove that you're a musician, because that person probably doesn't care. I think it's a very important point. It's a very blunt point, but I think it actually makes all the difference. If you differentiate yourself between being a sales assistant or a musician, they're both very different jobs. And obviously, even if you're pursuing music in the evenings after your 9-to-5 job in a store, that's when you need to perform, not when you're handing over the guitar to the customer. Just make them feel comfortable, make them feel at home. Oh man. Oh yeah, this is my next guitar, definitely. Oh yeah. Now, I love visiting different guitar stores in different cities and different countries, but really it's the guitar store near you in your hometown that you can form a relationship with, and maybe you can ask them questions, maybe you can learn their names, and really just don't be shy about talking to the people behind the counter. Another piece of advice is to go and find out the layout of your local guitar store. So if you haven't ventured in there yet, maybe go and form a connection, maybe visit a few times. You don't have to necessarily sit down and play a guitar, but knowing whether they have an isolation booth, whether they have a quiet room, whether they might keep the store open a little bit late or open it a little bit early if you are worried about playing in front of other people. These are all things just to maybe ask a few questions about and see whether or not it's possible. It might not be, you never know where they have to be and what they have to do, or what they're allowed to do if they aren't the manager. But really, go and inquire. And yeah, I think the other thing that I realised from the guitar centre over the road, I'm now in Sam Ash, some of these spaces are so large, like you are vulnerable to people walking past, distracting you and taking you out of your comfort zone. So really look into what the guitar store has to offer, especially if you are visiting from out of town. Maybe give it a Google, have a little look at the layout. And yeah, I just really hope that people feel more comfortable. Share your experiences in the comments below, whether they have been positive or negative. Try and focus on the positive, and if you have had negative experiences, then maybe provide some constructive criticism as to how stores can make it slightly more accessible and make players feel more comfortable about coming in, sitting down with an instrument and trying to bond with one, because really that's the point. If you have time to form the connection, then you will probably make a sale, and that's kind of what stores rely on. Write in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, but otherwise I will see you very soon.